are doing something I wasn't planning on videoing whatsoever, but, well, as it turns out, I thought this might be an interesting segment of a video anyway. So what we got here is some Jaguar door panel tops. Now, typically, on a Datsun, you got the cardboard and then the part that rolls up over the window's metal. So, you know, no problem. This one, there's a metal piece goes in behind this, but this is where your actual material goes to, and it's plastic. And well, we have, this end is broken off, and we have a crack here, and there's some cracks here, and of course there's the mounting hole here. That's where that initially, I think what happened is they over tightened. There's a wood trim piece goes in here, and I think it got over tightened at some point. But anyway, these things are from a 70 something Jaguar, and obviously that's got enough age on it to just crack just because it's old. So this one has one crack, two cracks. It's sort of cracked there, sort of cracked there. So what we're going to do, some of this I can work on with the heat gun a little bit, but for the most part I think it's going to require some fiberglass. So we have some fiberglass material right here, and I have my resin, and I had to just go to town to get some hardener because I had lost that. Typical, right? So anyway, we want to start with some brake parts cleaner and apparently a fresh roll of paper towel, since I'm not sure I have any that isn't just already opened. All right. So typically, I would be able to clean this easier, but these being plastic and fragile as they were, I had to just peel off the leather, and then there was a layer of foam. I had to take my nylon wheel to clean that off. I guess I should have showed y'all that. But like I said, I wasn't planning on recording any of this. I just thought, well, you know, I'm doing fiberglass. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure somebody's done a video on doing fiberglass repair on something like this, but anyway, I just thought it might make an interesting video. So we're going to start by cleaning this up good. Trying to get some more of that glue gunk off. Mostly the, oh, that wasn't good, was it? Well, not the recommended way to clean your camera lens. I feel I'm going to have to take a break here in a minute because school's about to let off, and there's going to be like 500 cars roll by here. Well, not really 500. There's not 500 in the whole school probably. But anyways, there'll be a bunch of cars go by. I'm trying to be light with the brake parts cleaner because, you know, it'll kind of eat into this plastic if I'm not careful. I ain't sure yet whether I'm going to glass the whole things or just do the repair areas. Probably just do the repair areas because I don't feel like having to work the fiberglass well. I just found another crack right here at the back. So, I don't know. I didn't really charge him enough to do the entire thing, so we'll probably still just do some repair areas. Alright. Now, we're going to take and sand a little bit. All right, so what we have here, we found a little Tupperware that can work, but pretty much I'm going to ruin it if I use it, which, you know, what's that, $1? Whatever. But I'm going to try this tiny paper plate because I think it'll be easier to stir and mix on. So the fiberglass has been sitting in the garage. So that's why my fiberglass has just been sitting around. Woo! Alright. So we're going to take and try and stir that a little bit. It seems to be alright. So we want to take and try and get some of the resin on here. You know, I'm actually kind of getting ahead of myself because I should cut some pieces first, because I'm going to put the cloth on here. I'm not just going to try and do this with resin. Okay, so we're going to set that down right there. We want a piece that will go down over there. And we want a piece down here. I'm not going to try and do this all in one. Like so. And I'll hope to not have to actually do it down in there, but we'll see. Okay, so now, alright, now let's see. Does this have the little dropper thing in it? No. So this is sealed. So what you have to do is make a hole in the end of it. So we're going to take one of our little picks here and try and make our hole with that without knocking shit everywhere. There we go. Now, ideally, that's probably a little bigger than it should be, but we're going to go, yeah, there we go. We get drips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah. That's probably more than we needed, but it's all good. So, now, the trick to this piece is going to be the fact that it's not going to want to stay put together. So we're going to weight it down just a tad. This is also why I have this piece of board sitting here to give me a flat working surface, because this table is not exactly stable. It's not a stable table. It's not a flat, hard working surface because it has a cloth covering. It's actually covered with cloth a couple times because it was used in a tailor shop. That's probably way more information than y'all needed to know about my table. But that's okay, because right now you're just watching me stir this crap around, hoping that I got the mixture right. Now, fiberglass is something that I wouldn't call myself a professional at. I am not by any means a fiberglass person. Something I only use if I have to, basically. There are certain instances where you pretty much have to use fiberglass. And then there are instances where people use fiberglass when they shouldn't. Good example is, and you will see this in textbooks on how to do body work, of how to fiberglass up a rust hole. That is the stupidest thing you can do, pretty much, in my opinion. Alright, so we got a little bit of a wet base coat there. Now we're going to lay our cloth down there, and then we're going to, you know, I'm not even doing this the right way. If I'm going to show you how to do something, I should show you how to do it right, shouldn't I? What your ideal thing to do is use a what's called a release sheet, and I have plenty of plastic out here. I hadn't done this in so long, I kind of forgot what I was doing. So this is one way you can do it. This is the sloppier way. But you have to saturate your cloth. Seeing as how I already started, this is the way we're going to do it. So the other way, I'll show you, because we're not going to do but this one piece like this. Because see, what happens is you pull your strands up as you're trying to do this and all this good stuff. But you have to saturate your cloth, and when you saturate your cloth, it actually turns gel-like as well. You'll see it start to turn clear. And as I'm applying that, that part is starting to take shape. Now this time I'm just going to take my little pliers here, and I'm just going to dip this right down in the stuff here. Dip it right in there, and then let's dip the other side too. We will saturate it that way, and then we'll just lay it right on there. Now as it gets more saturated, it will become more flexible. See, just like this piece could now, actually that piece what needs is to cut a slit in it and let it, now it can go down in there like so. Alright. Now fiberglass has kind of a slow dry time compared to like Bondo, which can dry before you can finish working it. So it takes a bit of patience. Now as that is starting to saturate down, get flexible. I could probably see more if I had my big head out the light. Alright, now as that's starting to do its thing there, it's actually starting to hold that in place. But see, this one don't want to stay. It wants to keep popping up. Now you see this is starting to get more gel-like instead of liquid. That means it is starting to set. Now, unfortunately, doing it the way I am right here, I am going to have it glued to this board. Luckily, this board is just a piece of scrap wood, so we're not too worried about that. But the problem is going to be the fact that it's going to be glued to the board. Okay, let's get some more of this liquid on this part that wants to keep coming up. Right here and in behind there. And this other little corner. Okay, so this is basically the sloppy, unprofessional way to do this. Like I say, the right way to do it is using a release film. So I will show you all that on the next one. And meantime, that's your basic idea of what we're doing. Let's put the lid back on this. So I'm going to have to let this kind of set, and I'll try to get set up to do my next part. The paper plate worked okay. The good thing is that's disposable, so you know, we can just toss it. The bad thing is I only have 4 or 5 of these little plates like this. So we're going to try and get as much of this resin. Let's put a little more right here. This kind of has a edge that needs a little help. Okay. Now with fiberglass, unlike with Bondo, the less you mess with it, the better off you are. Okay, that one's still setting, but we're going to go ahead and start on the next piece, because I'll be here forever if I wait on each one to dry. Of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, a bunch of people start driving by. Alright, so now we need resin. Paper plate. So I had enough on the last one, and I only have one little piece on this one, so we're going to just do a few dips. Probably more than enough. Now, we shall do our hardener. So, I just sort of guess at this. I'm just, you got to put so many drops for so much stuff. And I don't know how many drops to how much stuff, so that ought to be plenty. Then again, I may not have had enough in the last batch while it's taking forever to dry. I don't know. I'm not a fiberglass guy, as I said before. And seeing as how I bought this from the paint store, there's not exactly any instructions other than add hardener. I guess I'm supposed to be a professional if I'm buying it from the professional paint store and know what I'm doing. You know, I have to ask questions, right? Alright. So now, this time we're doing the release film method. So this is my release film. And basically, this is packaging plastic that we receive foam in. Now you can use household styrofoam, works just fine. So what we want to do is we want to take and put down a layer of resin the size of our little patch. We want it to be, you know, relatively thick. This is basically going to be your gel coat. Then we want to take our patch, lay it in the fiberglass. This stuff burns when you get it on your nose. Lay that in the fiberglass here. That down a little bit. Now we want to coat it. So, I'm just going to put the rest of this on here. So, alright, I'm going to set this to the side. And we want to get our piece here. Lay this where we can. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do, we're going to lay it on top of this piece of plastic so I don't glue this one to the board. So, I'm going to lay it right on the edge of that, like so. And then we're going to take it off of just the piece I need, head off to the sheet that's on the table. And we're going to lay this right around here, like so. See, by doing this, you can actually use your fingers to manipulate your fiberglass the way you want it and not get the sticky stuff all over you. Now, that's got that piece in place, and I'm going to lay this screwdriver right here to, well, maybe. I'll take this box cutter knife, lay on that, and then lay the screwdriver on the box cutter knife to hold it down. Hold that down in that groove real good. Now we just gotta let that one set. Now that, as you can see, is a much cleaner way of doing it than that. Now once this dries to a tack point to where it's no longer sticky, you just peel off the fiberglass. Now if you leave it overnight, you may not want to peel off. So I'll come back in probably like 15 minutes and check on that. This one is almost tacky. See, I can touch it without getting liquid on my finger. That part's still pretty sticky. The part with the cloth is actually absorbed enough of this stuff that it's more dry. It's still soft, pliable, but it's starting to set. So, little at a time, you know. I mean, if I prepped it just right and had enough space, I could, you know, do this on all the pieces. But, well, I wasn't quite that well planned ahead. And I didn't even think about that one, you got that crack right there that I'm going to have to go back over right beside of this. I should have made that big enough to cover both pieces, but I didn't, so. So the takeaway from that is better planning probably makes for better results. But this is definitely a better method than that was. So, well, I don't know exactly how much time has passed, but I believe our piece here is set. So we can try and get it loose from the board. It did stick a little bit. But now that is stable. I'll have to do this other little part right here. But right now, so this is the other stuff. That's enough to where we can touch that. And you can kind of gauge this by, if you take your thumbnail and push and it doesn't make a dent in it, you know it's pretty well set. So then we'll take it, try and peel our contact paper off, our release paper. So we're going to go from up here where it's stuck really good. It's not stuck as good down here because I didn't get that as clean. But so when you pull this off, it comes off clean, and you got a nice slick surface. This is how you get your gel coat, because you actually got a coat of resin over top. Whereas this one, you can see a lot more of the fiberglass material. Now you can go back over this with another gel coat, but this is done all in one go, and so that's now, and it actually did some of it seep through. I'll have to grind a little bit here, smooth that up, grind this down just a little bit, because it'll make a little bit of a hump. But we're going to try to get them all to that stage before we start grinding anything, probably. Although I may have to do this one a little bit just because it's kind of sloppy. Plus I need to smooth that up, clean that up enough to do that one. So I'm going to try to organize and get it to where, how many more places do I have? I have a crack here, a crack here, I believe. I thought there was one. Yeah, there's one there. It's not really all the way through, it doesn't seem. They can just put some resin on that part. So we need to clean this crack, that one. And I got one here. Where else? I know there's another one in here, isn't it? Well, there's some issues there, but mainly we want to get this one. this one right here. So we will take the grinder a little bit to help clean that stuff up. Alright, so now I think if we do this right, we can do one more session and get it off. So we're going to put that one back there, because all we got to do is put a little stuff on that right there. And then this one, we got to put a little stuff on this right here. I think I will actually put a little fabric right there on that part. So, now, we can reuse our release film. Take these extra little droplets and just knock them right off of there. Turn it a little differently. Alright, so we're going to take this and lay it right under the edge of that, just to kind of help to hold it down a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up with my pieces lined up where they need to be. So we got a little more stuff here. So I'm going to do this one. We'll go all the way up to there. So like so. So we cut it off right here. Alright. And that one all the way there. And this one kind of need a angle piece. So that it will go like so, and we're actually going to cut it off. Just turn it around and cut it off of this that's wanting to curl up anyway. So that'll give us a piece to go right there. So we want this to line up. Let's cut this square. Not exactly square. Like that. Now we want that to line up with that right there. We want this to line up with this right here. So, once again, I didn't clean my stuff off of that time. Which only what had hardener on it, on the tip end, was all that tried to stick. The rest of that was still liquid. Okay, so one more of our little paper plates here. I'm going to get a little more this time since I'm doing multiple spots. That's 4 or 3. 4 scoops. I think that's going to be plenty. Alright. Put our lid back on that. Actually, should be done with that. Now, let's see here. Alright. So we're going to do at least 10 drops this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, dropped some on myself. There's a couple more. All right. I think there's a ball game at the high school next door. Well, not next door, but 2 doors up. 3 doors up. All right. So now, we're going to put our layer. The bottom first. Here. Alright. Put this in there. And put this one over here. Oops. Alright. Thing about fiberglass, it is pretty sticky. Need a little more over there. On the bottom side. Everything's sticking to everything. Keep moving around, not staying where I want it. Alright, right there we go. Now, I just want to pull the rest of this. From there. It's like pancake syrup. About the consistency. Okay. Oh, I was supposed to put a little resin on this piece. Well, let's skip a little off the top of that. And I'm just going to put a little in here just to reinforce that a little bit. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put this little piece of stuff here on there. And see if I can get enough of this on the put on top of it. So this is going to be a direct comparison. Same time. Ah, crap! There's a crack right there that I didn't see in that one. Now I'll have to do another. I wasn't prepared for that. All right. So now we'll go situate this right here like so. Over there like so. And hopefully the edge of the right piece of plastic. Just rolling right over there. At this point I have stuff on my fingers, but it's okay. I want to keep that rolled up there. there. And take it, tuck that down in there nicely. Yes, I am using the handle end because I don't want to smear stuff on the backside here. Alright. Alright, so today I am going to be grinding fiberglass, so I probably should have a respirator, but I have a little dust mask, and I'd have a exhaust fan, so hopefully that's good enough. And I do have safety glasses on. Plastic is trying to suck up into my grinder. I'm going to have to put its tail in. Okay, so that's got that cut off flesh. Now I just got to grind this one down. I do want to mention on technique, you need to keep your grinder, sander, whatever, as level to the surface you're trying to level this up to, obviously, and just keep moving back and forth across. But you don't want to grind it all off, so you do have to kind of taper the edges a little bit, and then just try to get it as smooth as you can without taking too much material off. So, I do notice one thing. Let me take his mask off. And that is the sloppy applied pieces took less grinding because they were thinner. Whereas the pieces where I used the release film, I still got to do a little more on that one, ended up being thicker and require more grinding. So in an instance like this, maybe the sloppy method is just as good. I don't know. But down in here, I'm not going to try and grind that much because this gets an insert in it. But yeah, I'm about to get there with this part. I guess it'll probably, this is Friday, so I guess it'll probably be Monday before I can finish these things up because it's almost quit time. So and I don't mind staying late on something that I'm going to finish. You know, I've just got a little bit to do, but I still have a lot to do on these, so they won't be done until Monday. I guess I got to put this back on now. Grind some more. Okay, I kind of started y'all off in the middle of this project because I wasn't even planning on doing this, but just to give y'all an idea of what I was going on with it, let me show y'all what I started with. Move these buttons out of the way. That was not part of the project. Okay, so we had to have our jigsaw, so we had to cut new boards because, well, here was the one that I had to use to get the pattern from. And as you can see, I didn't have much to work with. I'd done the basic outline before I took the cover off, because once I took the cover off, this all just fell apart. Then I had to mark the holes. I'm hoping they all come out right, because this is so distorted, it's very hard to tell. And this was the better panel. This was the passenger side. Let me show y'all real quick what the driver's side looked like. So, at some point, this front portion was originally carpeted. So, at some point, someone rebuilt this driver's door panel with some cardboard boxes. Now, yes, they are originally made of cardboard, but this is solid cardboard. And corrugated does not have the strength needed for something like this. So, so anyway, what we got here is our two boards, and I need a trash can, but anyway, the two boards to make the two panels. And let's see, that one still needs some the stuff cut, but so what you got here, all these holes is what puts the top on, and that's, let's see, driver's side, so that would be this one. And what it does here, let's see, oh, well, that's interesting. I have to trim a little differently than I thought. So that will line up with that, and then there's this other piece here that also goes with it, and then these little pieces of wood. So this piece goes over on the back side behind that. The little piece of wood in here is actually what, actually it don't have a purpose other than to fill in a little gap in there, give it a little reinforcement in behind the top of this. So this was pop riveted together, and that would be through this piece and the cardboard. Let's see. And then there's little pins that holds the bottom part together. So I got to drill these remains of these pop rivets the rest of the way out. And then this piece goes up here, and it will sandwich the cardboard in between the metal piece and the plastic piece there. And then we get Something like these are some we had. These are a little type of rivet. The ones it had was steel. These are little brass ones, or copper rather. And I'm hoping to be able to use those to put it back together. I'm going to get these out first. Hopefully I can grab them and just twist them out like this, but I'm probably going to have to do some more drilling, grinding, and fighting with those to get them out. So yeah, I'll come back when I've got that done. Okay, so I did try this and it seems to work pretty good. Get a hold of them with these bigger pliers and a little twisty ringy action there. That may not come out so easy. They've already been drilled off, you know, the main part. This is just like the remnant, but still in the way of putting new pop rivets in. And this part is where the weather strip goes on. On this back side of this. Well, looks like I may still have to do a little drilling on a couple of them. Alright. Okay, so we had glassed over some of the holes here. So that one is pretty close to cleared out. And then I got to drill these two out. So I'm going to set this here carefully. These two out. The back side is not even, so I'm going to try to get it from the smooth side. It's just a little hard to see. Okay. Now, the tricky part is, yes, I have to pop rivet this piece back to that top part, but that actually doesn't come in until after we get the cover on. So I'm going to have to see here. This tapes on here like so. So we got the marks for that. So we need to tape that back in place because it doesn't really. It's just kind of a filler block. So. Don't really need this big wide tape, but that's what I had handy, so that's what it's going to get. And this is just to hold this temporarily in place. That's exactly what they did from the factory. So take that in place. Now, this piece doesn't go on just yet. This is going to be a little tricky. Because what we got to do is put this piece on. And also have to figure out exactly why this doesn't line up entirely with this back. The front pretty closely does. So I may have to do a little more trimming. So what we're going to do is line up our holes here where this panel is going to go. And we got a little corner that needs to come off right here. And then back here, okay, back here what's going on is we are actually missing a chunk of this plastic. I did not realize that until just now. I could have built that up with the fiberglass, but like I say, I didn't realize it until just now. Because this is supposed to come down here kind of square. Okay, so Let's put the other one face down right there and see where it lines up to. Okay, those holes lined up. This actually comes out even back there. So, am I going to have to fiberglass that to make it come out right, or is there another way I can do this? Oh, I'm on the wrong set of holes. There we go. Yeah, that would be even if it had the piece there. I can make that, but it's going to be more time consuming, especially towards getting this project done, which I was hoping to do today. This turned into a lot worse project than I thought it was going to be initially anyway. Alright, let's see. So we got our fiberglass work done on the back side of this. Oh, I need to actually trim just a tad there. I think I can just take that off like this. It's just a little slag buildup, basically. Like that. There we go. Okay. Now, this one, right, this is our other panel. We're working on this one currently. That one still needs the holes drilled in the top. But what we've got to determine with this one, number one, how did I miss the holes in the front of that? Oh yeah, because the front of this was completely disintegrated. Right. Okay. So we may need like 2 more holes there. So let's line these holes up, and then we'll make sure those and these back here are all lined up. Right now, we need one there, and one there. All right, and that'll need to. I need to drop back down to. Let's see. One of these probably. Yeah, that one. Now, however, may be better to do it with the hole punch. Well, that makes this larger hole. We don't want the larger hole. No, we're going to do it with the drill bit, even though it's a little bit aggravating to drill the cardboard because it, you know, it doesn't cut like wood or anything. It doesn't make a clean cut. It kind of fuzzes. Even on the edge of our table. Now this one is probably going to be the end of the trim. So there is extra holes because some of them just hold the board to the panels, and some of them are for these things here, which that one is missing one of its little clips, and we'll have to see if we can locate that because these things slide around. So what we want to do here is figure out which ones should be those and which ones should be the others. And I think that's going to be pretty easy to determine. So what we want to mark is the ones that are not for this piece. We'll have one back here that's in the wrong spot, it looks like. So we got this one, and this one, this one, that one, and I believe it's in the wrong spot, this one, and then that's it. These two are for the other thing. Okay, so this is more than just trim because it actually helps to hold the thing together. But an initial portion here is going to be, well, I throw my other bit back on because I got to drill. Alright, there should be one more back here. This one here, I don't even know where that came from. That shouldn't even be there. Okay. Ugh. This is one of those deals where, you know, I'm trying to show you all about this stuff, and yet I'm figuring it out as I go. Alright, so that one we've got to try and see. Turn the light on might help. Alright, we got one right here. Okay, it's a little tricky because you can't really see, but I got that one. And I didn't drill it from the back because this is uneven and would have made my drill try to crawl around everywhere. There's another hole right there that's covered up. Also, I can't put any pressure hardly. Wow, why is that so not wanting to drill? There it is. Okay, now one more at the very back. I can barely see that. The fact that our shavings are coming out pretty much all white tells us that we're drilling in the fiberglass and not in the black plastic. So that's got those re-drilled. Alright. Now, there should be another hole in the board apparently. So let's line these up again as best we can. And pencil. Alright. Okay, pretty good there. Push this down and there. Okay, so we drill another hole there. And hopefully we can start putting this together. Right, I need to set this one to the side because this one is for the other side. All of this and I ain't even started to make the cover yet. This is crazy. Alright. So now we'll flip this around and that hole should be in line with these two even though it didn't really come out that way. Okay, so now like that. And so now the question becomes, which one of those is the single one? Which one is the one with the trim piece? Those three not really. Alright, let's see. So I got one there, there. This one's the one missing one. So we're supposed to put one there. And I'm going to say, well, this could go as far back as there. I'm going to say the ones at the end. So the other one right here is going to be our. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins that'll hold this together. Now, so we got to put this together, put the cover on, then the chrome piece goes on the back. That's why you have the little rivets that holds the first part together. All right, and let's see. Now, I should have enough of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yep, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they're rolling around. There's 4. There's 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you got like 4 more. Okay, we should be good. Now, how well these are going to hold is the next question. And are they going to reach all the way through? So we need to put, and this is going to be extraordinarily tricky. I'm not even sure how this is supposed to work. We gotta go through that and then over through this metal piece as well. So we need these pieces kind of together, and they'll sandwich this like so. So I've got to get the holes lined up between all of that, and see if we can get our little rivet through here. There we go. It's through that part. There we go. Now it's through the back side. That is going to be very little holding on that. Let's put this board under right here. Okay. So that is not going to work because that is so little holding through there, it's not going to stay. Right there's one of the old metal rivets. They came out in very bad condition because, you know, they're 50 years old and rusted. So trying to put them back isn't going to not work well either. So we've actually got 2 for the metal piece. Wow, those were not in there. So we're going to have to do something different because this is not going to work. I may have to just use some regular rivets. I don't think there would be a problem with that for this part. Where'd that other one go? Oh, that, right there. Couldn't see it because it's so rusty. Come on out there. There we go. Alright. Now, this has some little screws in it. I'm assuming a power mirror switch or something goes right there. Not really sure. But I'll come back when I've got figured out what we're going to do.